There are few places on our planet that resonate so deeply within the human spirit. Jerusalem is one such place. It is a city of stone and faith, of conflict and of hope. For millennia, it has drawn people from every corner of the world. They come as pilgrims, as conquerors, as seekers of truth. The very name Jerusalem whispers of ancient promises and profound mysteries. It sits perched on the Judean mountains, a golden city that seems to shimmer between the earth and the heavens. Its story is not just the story of a single place, but a story of humanity itself, a chronicle of our highest aspirations and our most enduring struggles. What is it about this city that commands such devotion? It is more than just a collection of old buildings and narrow winding streets. Jerusalem is an idea, a symbol that lives in the hearts of billions. For Jews, it is the city of King David, the site of the sacred temple. For Christians, it is the stage upon which the final dramatic acts of Jesus' life played out. For Muslims, it is the destination of the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous night journey. It is a city claimed by many, yet it belongs to no single group entirely. This shared and often contested sanctity is what makes Jerusalem so utterly unique and so perpetually vital in our world. The air here seems thick with history. Every stone, every archway, every ancient olive tree has a tale to tell. Walking through its gates is like stepping back through time. You can almost hear the echoes of prayers recited in 100 different languages, the clang of Roman swords, the calls of merchants in a bustling souk. It is a living museum, not one of relics kept behind glass, but one where history breathes and walks alongside the people of today. The past is not buried here. It is the very foundation upon which the present is built, a constant presence that shapes every aspect of daily life. To understand Jerusalem is to embark on a remarkable journey. It is a journey through time, exploring the rise and fall of great empires. It is a journey through faith, delving into the core beliefs that have shaped our world. And it is a journey through human culture, witnessing how different peoples can coexist, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not, within the same ancient walls. This story is a compelling one, full of wonder and discovery, and it begins thousands of years ago with the very first settlers who looked upon these hills and decided to call them home. Long before it was the heart of great religions, Jerusalem was a modest settlement, a fortress on a hill. Its story begins more than 5,000 years ago, in an era we call the Bronze Age. The first people to build here were the Canaanites. They chose this location not for its spiritual significance, which was yet to come, but for its strategic advantages. The hill offered natural defenses, and a reliable spring, the Gihon Spring, provided the life-giving water essential for survival in this arid land. They called their city Urusalem, which some believe meant foundation of Shalem, a Canaanite god of dusk. These early inhabitants were resourceful people. Archaeological discoveries have unearthed the remains of their powerful fortifications. They built massive walls to protect their small community from roving tribes and rival city-states. They carved intricate tunnel systems into the rock to bring water from the Gihon Spring safely inside the city walls, an incredible feat of ancient engineering. This water system, later expanded upon, would be crucial to Jerusalem's survival through countless sieges in the centuries that followed. It was a testament to the ingenuity and foresight of its very first builders, people whose names are lost to history, but whose work endures. For centuries, this Canaanite stronghold existed under the shadow of larger empires. It is mentioned in ancient Egyptian texts from around 1400 BCE, known as the Amarna letters. In these clay tablets, the king of Jerusalem writes to the Egyptian pharaoh, pledging his loyalty and asking for help against his enemies. This shows us that even in its infancy, Jerusalem was part of a larger interconnected world of politics and power. It was a small but important piece in the great game of empires that played out across the ancient Near East, a pattern that would repeat itself again and again throughout its long and complex history. This early period laid the groundwork for everything that was to come. The city's location, its water source, and its defensive potential were all established in these formative years. While the spiritual significance of Jerusalem had not yet been born, the physical city was taking shape. It was a place of resilience, a settlement that clung to its rocky perch, enduring the harsh realities of the ancient world. It stood waiting, a stage being set for a story of epic proportions, a story that would begin with the arrival of a new people and a new king. The destiny of Jerusalem was forever changed around 1000 BCE. It was then that a new leader, a king of the Israelites named David, captured the city from its inhabitants, the Jebusites. David saw the potential of this fortress. It was strategically located between the northern and southern tribes of Israel, and capturing it would unite his fledgling kingdom. He made it his capital, and from that moment on, Jerusalem became inextricably linked with the Jewish people. It was no longer just a stronghold, it became the city of David, the political and spiritual heart of the nation of Israel. David's son, King Solomon, elevated the city to even greater heights. It was Solomon who, according to the Hebrew Bible, built the first temple. This was not just any building, it was to be the dwelling place of God on earth. Constructed with cedar from Lebanon and vast quantities of gold and bronze, it was a structure of legendary beauty and importance. It became the focal point of Jewish religious life. Pilgrims from all over the kingdom would travel to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices and pray at the temple. The city was now the undisputed center of Judaism, a sacred space where the divine and the human world met. This golden age, however, was not to last. After Solomon's death, the kingdom split, and Jerusalem faced centuries of turmoil and threats from powerful neighboring empires. In 586 BCE, a devastating blow was struck. The Babylonian army, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, conquered the city, destroyed Solomon's magnificent temple, and forced a large portion of the Jewish population into exile in Babylon. The city was left in ruins and its people were scattered. It was a moment of profound trauma, a loss that has been mourned by the Jewish people for more than 2.5 millennia. Yet the connection to Jerusalem was never broken. Even in exile, the Jewish people prayed facing towards their lost city, vowing, "If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning." Decades later, when the Persian Empire conquered Babylon, the Jews were allowed to return. They came back to a devastated city but were determined to rebuild. They constructed the second temple on the same sacred site. Though perhaps not as grand as the first, it stood as a powerful symbol of rebirth and endurance, ensuring that Jerusalem would remain the eternal capital of the Jewish faith and people. Some 500 years after the Second Temple was built, Jerusalem became the setting for another story, one that would give birth to a new world religion. In the early 1st century CE, during the time of Roman rule, a Jewish teacher from the Galilee named Jesus arrived in the city. For his followers, he was the long-awaited Messiah. The final week of his life, a period of immense significance for Christians, unfolded within these ancient walls. It was here that he taught in the temple courts, shared a final meal with his disciples, and was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. The city became the stage for the central events of the Christian faith. The path that Jesus walked on his way to his crucifixion, known as the Via Dolorosa or the Way of Sorrows, is one of the most sacred routes in Christendom. It winds through the narrow streets of the Old City, marking the traditional locations of his final moments. His crucifixion at Golgotha, a site just outside the city walls at the time, and his subsequent burial and resurrection, are the cornerstones of Christian belief. These events transformed Jerusalem from a primarily Jewish holy city into a place of profound importance for a new and growing faith. For the first followers of Jesus, Jerusalem was the birthplace of their church. It was here on the day of Pentecost that the disciples were said to have been filled with the Holy Spirit and began to spread their teachings. The city was the base from which Christianity began its expansion, eventually reaching the farthest corners of the Roman Empire and beyond. Early Christians, who were themselves Jewish, continued to worship at the temple, but they also gathered in their own communities, cherishing the places associated with Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, creating a new sacred map of the city. The physical landscape of Jerusalem was permanently changed by its new Christian identity. After the Roman Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity in the 4th century, his mother Helena made a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. She commissioned the construction of magnificent churches to commemorate the most sacred sites. The most important of these was the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, built over the traditional locations of Jesus' crucifixion and tomb. This incredible structure became and remains to this day the most revered shrine in all of Christendom, a destination for millions of pilgrims who come to walk in the footsteps of their Savior. In the 7th century CE, a new faith emerged from the deserts of Arabia, and it too would turn its gaze towards Jerusalem. For Muslims, Jerusalem is known as Al-Quds, the Holy One. Its sanctity in Islam is profound, stemming from a pivotal event in the life of the Prophet Muhammad. According to Islamic tradition, one night the Prophet was miraculously transported from Mecca to Jerusalem in an event known as the Isra or Night Journey. From the location of the old Jewish temple, he is then said to have ascended to the heavens on a celestial steed in the Miraj or Ascension, where he spoke with earlier prophets and with God. This miraculous event established Jerusalem as the third holiest city in Islam, after Mecca and Medina. The site from which the Prophet ascended, the Temple Mount, became a hallowed ground for Muslims. For a brief period early in his ministry, the Prophet Muhammad even instructed his followers to pray facing Jerusalem, making it the first Qibla, or direction of prayer in Islam. Although the direction was later changed to the Kaaba in Mecca, Jerusalem's status as a blessed and sacred sanctuary was permanently cemented in the heart of the Islamic faith. When Muslim armies arrived at Jerusalem in 638 CE, the city surrendered peacefully. The Caliph Umar, a companion of the Prophet, traveled to the city to accept its surrender. Showing great respect for its sanctity, he entered the city on foot. The Christian patriarch Sophronius showed him the holy sites, including the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. When the time for prayer came, the patriarch invited the caliph to pray inside the church, but Umar politely declined. He feared that if he prayed there, future generations of Muslims might try to convert the church into a mosque. Instead, he prayed outside, a gesture of respect for the city's other faiths. Under early Islamic rule, the Temple Mount was transformed. The Caliph Abd al-Malik, wanting to create a magnificent monument at the site of the Prophet's ascension, commissioned the construction of the Dome of the Rock. Completed in 691 CE, this stunning shrine, with its brilliant golden dome and intricate blue tilework, is not a mosque, but a structure built to honor the sacred rock from which the Prophet ascended. Nearby, the Al-Aqsa Mosque was also built, becoming the main congregational mosque for the city. These two structures have defined the Jerusalem skyline for over 1,300 years, standing as a testament to the city's profound importance in the Islamic world. The story of Jerusalem is also a story of conquest. Its immense strategic and spiritual importance meant that it was coveted by one empire after another. After the period of early Islamic rule, the city entered a long and often violent chapter of its history. The relative peace was shattered in 1099 when Christian armies from Europe, known as the Crusaders, stormed the city. Driven by religious fervor, they sought to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. Their conquest was brutal, resulting in a terrible massacre of the city's Muslim and Jewish inhabitants and the establishment of the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem. The Crusaders' rule lasted for less than a century. In 1187, the great Muslim Sultan Saladin recaptured Jerusalem. In stark contrast to the Crusader conquest, Saladin's victory was marked by mercy. He allowed the Christian inhabitants to leave peacefully after paying a ransom and protected the city's holy sites. He invited Jews who had been barred from the city by the Crusaders to return and settle. Saladin's actions restored a degree of the city's multicultural character, but the struggle for control was far from over. The city would change hands between Muslims and Crusaders several more times in the coming decades. A period of relative stability arrived in 1517, when Jerusalem was absorbed into the vast and powerful Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans would rule the city for the next 400 years. One of the most famous Ottoman rulers, Suleiman the Magnificent, had a great affection for Jerusalem. In the mid-16th century, he embarked on a major building campaign. He completely rebuilt the city's fortifications, creating the magnificent walls that still encircle the old city today. These imposing walls, with their grand gates, gave Jerusalem the iconic appearance that it has retained for centuries. The long era of Ottoman rule came to an end during the First World War. In 1917, British forces entered the city, and Jerusalem came under the control of the British Mandate. This marked a new chapter in the city's history, one that brought it into the modern era of international politics. The British presence set the stage for the growing conflicts between the Arab and Jewish populations, both of whom laid claim to the city and the surrounding land. The tapestry of empires that had ruled Jerusalem was now being rewoven with the threads of modern nationalism, leading to the complex situation we see today. Within Jerusalem's ancient walls lie some of the most sacred and recognizable landmarks on earth. Each one is a focus of intense devotion, a physical anchor for the beliefs of millions. Perhaps the most poignant of these is the Western Wall. This is the last remaining retaining wall of the Second Temple complex, which was destroyed by the Romans in 70 CE. For Jews, it is the holiest site where they are permitted to pray. For centuries, people have come here to mourn the loss of the temple and to place written prayers in the cracks between its enormous ancient stones. It is a place of deep sorrow, but also of unshakable hope. Just above the western wall on the plateau known as the Temple Mount or Haram al-Sharif, stand two of Islam's most glorious structures. The Dome of the Rock, with its unforgettable golden dome, is an architectural masterpiece. It protects the sacred rock at the heart of the Prophet Muhammad's night journey. Nearby is the silver-domed Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. The entire plaza is a place of great beauty and tranquility, but also one of immense religious and political sensitivity, as it is sacred to both Jews and Muslims, making it one of the most contested pieces of real estate in the world. A short walk away, within the Christian quarter, lies the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This sprawling ancient church is a labyrinth of chapels and shrines shared often uneasily by several different Christian denominations, including the Greek Orthodox, Roman Catholic and Armenian Apostolic churches. It is built over the two holiest sites in Christianity, the Hill of Calvary, where Jesus was crucified, and the tomb where he was buried and from which he rose. To be inside this church is to feel the weight of 2 millennia of Christian pilgrimage and prayer, a truly profound and moving experience for believers. Beyond these 3 great monuments, the city is filled with countless other sacred and historic places. On the Mount of Olives, ancient olive groves stand where Jesus is said to have prayed. The tomb of King David is a revered site for Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. In the Muslim quarter, the Via Dolorosa is marked with stations commemorating the events of Jesus' final journey. Each landmark is a stone in the city's vast mosaic, a testament to the layers of faith and history that have been built, one on top of the other, creating a spiritual landscape unlike any other on our planet. The Old City of Jerusalem is a place of incredible diversity, a living mosaic of cultures packed into less than 1 square kilometer. For centuries, it has been informally divided into 4 distinct quarters: the Jewish quarter, the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, and the Armenian quarter. Walking through these quarters is like traveling between different worlds. The sights, sounds, and smells change as you cross from one to the next. The call to prayer from a minaret might mingle with the ringing of church bells and the chants of a rabbi leading his students in study. This is the daily symphony of Jerusalem. The Jewish quarter, largely rebuilt after being destroyed in 1948, is centered around the Western Wall. Its clean stone alleyways are lined with synagogues, yeshivas, those are religious schools, and museums. Here you see families dressed in traditional religious attire, and the air is filled with a sense of reverence and scholarly devotion. It is a quarter that lives and breathes its ancient heritage, a community focused on prayer, study, and remembrance, all within sight of its most sacred and sorrowful stone, the Wall. It is a powerful symbol of the Jewish people's return to their ancestral heartland. The Christian quarter is home to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and is a bustling hub for pilgrims from around the globe. Its streets are filled with shops selling religious souvenirs from olive wood carvings to frankincense. It is a place of immense diversity within itself, with over 40 churches and monasteries representing a multitude of Christian denominations. This quarter is a testament to Christianity's global reach, as you can hear languages from every continent spoken by the faithful who have journeyed here to connect with the origins of their faith. The Muslim quarter is the largest and most populous of the 4. It is a vibrant, sprawling marketplace or souk, with narrow, covered alleyways teeming with life. The air is rich with the aroma of spices, grilled meats, and freshly baked bread. Merchants call out, selling everything from colorful textiles to intricate metalwork. This quarter leads to the Haram al-Sharif, with the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque. It is the beating heart of Palestinian life in the Old City, a place of commerce, community, and deep-rooted faith that has been passed down through generations. Today, Jerusalem stands as a vibrant modern city, but one that lives with the constant presence of its monumental past. The ancient stones and sacred sites are not relics, they are part of a living, breathing community. The city is a place of profound contrasts. Ancient alleyways open onto bustling modern streets. People of deep faith live alongside secular residents. It is a city of high-tech innovation and of timeless traditions. This blend of old and new, of sacred and secular, is what makes Jerusalem so endlessly fascinating and complex. It is a city that is constantly reinventing itself while holding fast to its identity. The future of Jerusalem remains one of the most difficult and sensitive issues in the world. It is a city claimed as a capital by two peoples, Israelis and Palestinians. Its holy sites, so precious to three world religions, are a constant source of tension. Finding a way for all of its inhabitants to live together in peace, with justice and security, is a challenge of immense proportions. The story of Jerusalem has always been one of competing claims and overlapping histories. The hope for the future is that this shared city can one day become a true symbol of coexistence and mutual respect. Yet, despite the conflicts and the headlines, the deep human connection to this place endures. Every day, people from all corners of the globe arrive in Jerusalem. They come to pray, to learn, to explore, and to simply be in a place that has shaped so much of human history. They walk the same stones that prophets, kings, and pilgrims have walked for thousands of years. This shared human experience transcends politics and division. It is a reminder that for all our differences, we are drawn to the same search for meaning and connection to something greater than ourselves. The story of Jerusalem is a story that belongs to all of us. It is a mirror that reflects our capacity for faith, for creativity, for conflict, and for hope. Its journey through time is not over. It continues to unfold with each passing day. If you have been captivated by this journey through the Golden City, I invite you to continue exploring the rich tapestry of our shared past. Subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. As we continue to uncover the wonders of our world's history, one incredible place at a time, your support allows us to bring these vital stories to light.